Well, good morning. Great to be with you, Wolf. Great to be with you, Pamela. Great to be back on the Situation Room. Let me first just say we express our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to all of our veterans, our men and women who have worn the uniform, thankful for their service, their sacrifice, and continuing to give us the freedom that we cherish here in this country. It's our expectation that the House will vote at some point tomorrow, and House Democrats will strongly oppose any legislation that does not decisively address the Republican health care crisis. We want to reopen the government. We'll continue to stand by our hardworking federal employees and civil servants, but we have a responsibility to make sure that we extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits so that tens of millions of Americans don't experience dramatically increased health care costs that's going to prevent them from being able to see a doctor when they need one.
As you know, the bill that will be out on the House floor would fund the federal government until the end of January, some key agencies through the end of next year. What do you see happening on January 30th?
Well, I think what's going to be important over the next few weeks, once this issue is resolved relative to this particular piece of legislation, is that on December 31st, the Affordable Care Act tax credits expire. And dozens of House Republicans have been claiming over the last few weeks that they know that is something that needs to be addressed. And now we're going to have to see some action, or whether it was just talk from these House Republicans, because Democrats are going to continue to stay in the arena as it relates to dealing with the health care crisis that Republicans have visited on the American people. Understand that this year Republicans have enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. This is after Donald Trump promised in late January to love and cherish Medicaid. And we know that hospitals and nursing homes and community-based health centers are closing all across the country. And now, because of the Republican refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, there's a risk over the next few weeks that tens of millions of Americans will not be able to afford their health care. We're talking about working class Americans, middle class Americans, and everyday Americans. That's why Democrats are continuing to fight hard on their behalf.
But as you know, in the Senate, 7 Democrats and 1 independent who caucuses with the Democrats, they actually broke ranks to advance the funding bill, a 60-40 vote. They needed 60 votes. They got the 60 votes. The Republicans, with one exception, all voted for it. We spoke with one of those Democrats who caucus with one of those Democrats, Angus King, about why he decided to accept the Republican plan.
A lot of collateral damage was happening. People's lives were being hurt. If the tactic isn't working, and there were no prospects that it was going to work, then let's move on, not make a lot of other people suffer in order to get a goal that wasn't attainable.
Angus King of Maine, he's an independent, as you know, Leader Jeffries, but he caucuses with the Democrats. What's your response to his comment and his vote?
Well, the suffering that has been visited upon the American people over the last several weeks is very consistent with, unfortunately, the suffering that Donald Trump and Republicans have visited upon the American people since day one of his presidency, where we've seen these Republicans unleash extreme levels of aggressive behavior that does not make life better for these Americans. It makes life worse. And we've seen it an all-out assault on the economy, an all-out assault on health care, an all-out assault on nutritional assistance, an all-out assault by these Republicans on veterans and farmers and law-abiding immigrant families and the American way of life and, of course, democracy itself. And so our fight, obviously, is going to continue through whatever happens this week, because as House Democrats, we're committed to driving down the high cost of living, to fixing our broken health care system, and at the same period of time, cleaning up the corruption that exists in Washington, D.C., in the Congress, at the Supreme Court, and of course with the Trump administration, the most corrupt administration in American history, so we can actually deliver a country of the people, by the people, and for the people.
I just want to be precise.